Welcome again to the campus of Southwestern Seminary here in Fort Worth, Texas. We are standing atop Seminary Hill, where the seminary relocated in 1910, 115 years ago. From its inception, Southwestern Seminary has sought to combine the highest standards of research and scholarship with vigorous training in the practical areas of ministry, including missions, evangelism, discipleship, preaching, and worship. Southwestern Seminary alumni from 1908 to the present day have gained a wide reputation for effectiveness and faithfulness as preachers, missionaries, church staff ministers, and denominational servants. And on this episode of The Road to Dallas, presented by Southwestern Seminary, President David Dockery joins us to tell us more about this fantastic seminary set on fulfilling the Great Commission and living the Great Commandment. Welcome again to The Road to Dallas, presented by Southwestern Seminary. Today is a very special episode because joining me is the president of Southwestern Seminary, Dr. David Dockery. Dr. Dockery, thanks for being here.
Oh, it's great to see you, Jonathan. Looking forward to our conversation today.
Absolutely. And now you've been at Southwestern a few years, been in the presidency role, about just over a year and a half now?
28 months.
Okay, so a couple years. Okay. The last couple years, forgive me, around here at the EC, it's been a little bit wild. I've lost track of time pretty much altogether as it relates to other Southern Baptist events. But, you've been there now in the presidency, almost 2.5 years now. Give us a little update. What is Southwestern? What have you seen over the last few years and kind of where are you guys heading right now?
Yeah, it's a very encouraging time on campus as we move into 2025. We're excited about the prospects for the spring enrollment. Fall enrollment, we had an uptick of about 70 students over last year, and we had seen enrollments both the two previous years. So we're encouraged by the stability in enrollment. We're encouraged by stability in our finances, though we're not quite at a place of financial health, but we're making progress every month. The spirit on campus is terrific. We have adopted 6 new core values that is shaping the culture of this place in ways that I think are pleasing to our Lord and encouraging to those who are here as we seek to be a grace-filled, Christ-centered, scripturally grounded, confessionally guided, student-focused, and globally engaged campus. And we continue to pray, trust the Lord, and we're very hopeful about the days ahead for Southwestern Seminary.
Absolutely, as am I. You mentioned those 6 core values. If anybody has watched The Road to Dallas, they've heard me rattle those off every single episode. So we appreciate your partnership this year in The Road to Dallas. And, it's great whenever we have attendees that can go to the annual meeting when we host it in a city where our entities are located. But it's also great for the entities to have those messengers and other attendees come. Why is this year's SBC annual meeting in Dallas of particular significance to Southwestern Seminary?
Yeah, I think there are a handful of reasons that we're excited about the opportunity to be in Dallas. So one, it connects us closely with our local alumni across Texas, and we hope that they'll come see us at the booth, and particularly they'll come and join us for the luncheon on Wednesday. It'll be a great opportunity for us to connect Southwesterners of the past with Southwesterners of the present. And so that's a very important time for us. Secondly, as Southwestern's long historic commitment to evangelism and missions, particularly through L.R. Scarborough and Roy Fish and others, we have an opportunity to host a crossover site prior to the SBC. So we'll participate in that fully. We're very encouraged about that opportunity as well. Thirdly, if you think back 100 years, 1925, this will be 2025, it's the 100th anniversary of the Baptist Faith and Message. Southwestern was founded as a confessional institution in B.H. Carroll wanted faculty to adopt the New Hampshire Confession of Faith in 1908. But in 1925, we adopted the Baptist Faith and Message, and that's been our faith and message, our confessional statement for 100 years. So it's an opportunity for us to recommit ourselves to our convictional beliefs. And we think that's an important thing for all Southwesterners to know and to understand. Same thing related to the cooperative program.
Yeah.
100th anniversary of the cooperative program, and L.R. Scarborough had an important role in that. So we celebrate Southwestern's role in cooperative program and recommit ourselves to that as well. And something that a lot of folks may not know is that Southwestern was founded in 1908 as a Texas Baptist institution connected to the Baptist General Convention of Texas at the time. But we were officially adopted, and our Southern Baptist relationship began in 1925. So we celebrate 100 years as an SBC entity this year. So all of those things are very important to us. We're putting out a book that we hope will be released at the convention that tells some of that story and tells something about the Southwestern theological tradition. And so we're looking forward to celebrating 100 years and all that means for Southwestern Seminary in 2025 at Dallas.
Now, that's pretty cool. All those anniversaries. And this is another anniversary, a significant one, I think, for you. And we were talking before we started recording here of several people that I know, it seems. 1985 was a kind of a big deal in Dallas. The SBC annual meeting, 45,000 people in attendance. I can't imagine what that was like, but that was your first annual meeting that you went to. So you've been going, I think, ever since. And we've talked about just several people that we know. Dr. Orge, my boss, president of the EC here, that was his first annual meeting as well. Why are annual meetings so important, both to you, and why would you encourage other Southern Baptists to attend?
Yeah, well, annual meetings are very important because, I mean, technically it is when the Southern Baptist Convention exists and meet. We're together for 3 days, and then the rest of the year, we do our business through other means, as you know, and a rather complicated denominational polity. But those 3 days are very important because it is the business session of the Southern Baptist Convention. It's also very important for us to connect relationally and connect with friends and connect with churches and connect with alums. And so that creates a very special dynamic that's hard to create in any other context. So we look forward to the annual convention every year. But for me, it will be the 40th anniversary, the time since I have started attending these conventions. And I have only missed just a few, one or two, over those 40 years. And always have learned a lot. I've been privileged to be a part of some significant things, some committees that were very important to Southern Baptists at the particular times. Name change committee. I chaired the Calvinism committee in 2011, 2012, had the opportunity to preach at the convention in 2008. I was the editor of the New American Commentary when it was released and celebrated for the first volume at the Southern Baptist Convention in 1991. So you have big events that happen at the SBC. You have reports from study groups sometimes that have been at work for a year, 2 years. And so you get to hear that. And then we have an opportunity to process important decisions in our congregational polity at large that helps us to be committed to similar things as we work together to cooperate to advance the gospel together.
Yeah, absolutely. And all those are great reasons. And another good reason to come is to go to the seminary lunches, as you mentioned earlier, on that Wednesday.
We look forward to having lots of alums come back to join us, be at the event on Wednesday. And that's a time to celebrate what God's been doing at Southwestern Seminary.
Absolutely. And now you've been engaged in Southern Baptist life, you mentioned, for more than 40 years, and you've been in higher ed. You've been president of, obviously president of seminary, been president of colleges. You've been deans at seminaries. You've done a lot. Like, I mean, your resume is quite lengthy, and there's obviously been a lot of changes into higher education over the lifetime that you've spent in higher education. What are some of the developments that have you encouraged about the future of Southern Baptist higher education?
Well, I think everyone should be excited about the place of Southern Baptist education at this time, at the seminary level and among the colleges and the universities. I think that there's a better, stronger working relationship between the colleges and the seminaries than there has ever been. I think the colleges are committed not just to their state conventions, but to being a part of the what's happening
Yeah.
among the SBC, and I think that's very encouraging. The six seminaries are probably as healthy as they have ever been when you look at them together. You look at the ATS enrollment statistics, the
Yeah.
Association of Theological Schools, and all six schools are among the top 10 or 11 in terms of enrollment. Southwestern is number 5, the fifth largest seminary in the country, according to the ATS
Wow.
statistics. And so you have of the 260 something seminaries and divinity schools in the United States, Southern Baptist have 6 in the top dozen. And that's an amazing thing. So the strength of our educational programs, preparing ministers, counselors, educators, evangelists, missionaries, is second to none. And largely it's because of the wonderful gifts of the cooperative program. There are strong relationships historically between the churches and the seminaries, and the fact that seminaries are not just islands unto themselves, but
Yeah.
see themselves as very much a part of the life and work of Southern Baptists. And we're committed to preparing students to serve Southern Baptist churches, to be a part of Southern Baptist entities and agencies and denominational work. And so I'm very, very encouraged. There have been lots of
Yeah.
changes. When I started, nobody could anticipate online education. Now we do at least half of what we do at
Yeah.
all 6 seminaries is online. And so those are, big changes. We're more global than we have ever been. And our entities, our institutions themselves are more international in their makeup in terms of the
Yeah.
students who come our way. And so it's a different world today in 2025 than it was when I started as a faculty member and back in the 1980s. So I've seen a lot of changes, but I'm encouraged by where we are. I'm very excited about the future, and Southern Baptists as a whole should be hopeful, thankful to God for what is happening in Southern Baptist education, college, university, and seminaries.
Yeah, absolutely. And if messengers are in Dallas and they're in the DFW area during the convention and they want to bounce over to the campus, what are some 2 or 3 things that you'd want them to maybe take note of or see, or just make a special effort to see while they're there on campus?
Yeah, we'd love to have them uh, on campus. We hope that alums will stop by on that Saturday or Sunday before the convention. We have, the campus looks great. The Lord has blessed us with this beautiful campus, but perhaps some have not been back since the chapel was finished, a decade or so ago. Perhaps some have not been back since Mathena Hall was completed, which serves both our evangelism and mission program as well as the undergraduate students who are here. So we would like for them to see that. Of course, we have opportunity for them to participate with us in crossover if they're here
Yeah.
that Saturday. And so we would just love to have them back on campus. I know as an alum who finished here 44 years ago in 1981, I love this place and have, great memories of my time here. And I think it's always a time to reconnect with the past and then give thanks for what God has done for our heritage, but use that as a way of giving building on God's great faithfulness to this place as we look forward to what's going to happen in days ahead. Not only will people want to visit Southwestern campus, they might want to do other things in the area, and there's much to do in Dallas Fort Worth area as well. They stay over a couple of days after the convention. The Rangers will be back in town. They could see that. If you've never been to the George Bush Presidential Library in Dallas, that would be a great place for some to visit. For those who've never been to the Dallas-Fort Worth area, there are great art museums, wonderful restaurants. And if you get to Fort Worth, be sure and see the Old West stockyards, because as they say, Dallas is where the East ends and Fort Worth is where the West begins. And so you get to see both places while you're here to celebrate what God's doing in Southern Baptist life and enjoy the wonderful Metroplex area that we experience each and every day.
Absolutely. So yeah, you got me excited. I've been going to Dallas for ministry work and for, with my job here at the SBC Executive Committee several years. And it's like every time I go, I find something new there. And I'm even married to a Southwestern grad. And, I would go and visit her whenever she was in seminary there. And it just there's just so much in the Metroplex. It has so much to offer. And it's exciting to see us going to be able to be there and have Southern Baptists from around the country come to the Metroplex and get to see the seminary and get to see what the ministry that's going on in Dallas. So Dr. Dockery, again, thank you again for your service to Southern Baptist and for being with us here on the road to Dallas.
Thank you. I've enjoyed it, and we look forward to seeing everyone in Dallas in June.
And as always, this week's episode of The Road to Dallas is presented by Southwestern Seminary, whose core values are, as Dr. Dockery mentioned, grace-filled and Christ-centered, scripturally grounded and confessionally guided, student-focused, and globally engaged. You can learn more about Southwestern at swbts.edu, and be sure to check out their website for all their information about how to connect with them at the annual meeting, as well as their alumni luncheon, everything that they've got going on there. Be sure to stop by and see some of the professors and students that are going to be working at booth as well in the exhibit hall. So Dr. Dockery, thank you again, and thank you again for watching. We'll see you next time right here on The Road to Dallas, presented by Southwestern Seminary.